When the resistance came, we killed them all. But one. I wish I'd never found you. I wish I never loved you. I feared the day they'd find you. And now I have no choice. Rules are rules. Even for a queen.
For this NYX Face Awards Top 30 Royalty Challenge entry, I wanted to create a kind of forbidden love story set thousands of years in the future, after an apocalypse. The Queen of the Badlands and her people have gone to war with a rival nation, leaving all but one soldier. The Queen finds the soldier hiding out and they eventually fall in love. But their love is cut short when the guards find and capture the soldier, who is technically an enemy, leaving only one choice for the Queen: to kill the only person she's ever loved. I hope you guys love this video as much as I do. I worked insanely hard on it, and if you do love it, please do not hesitate to share this video. And also, super duper don't forget to head over to NYXFaceAwards.com and vote for me. You can vote 3 times per day per email address. Okay, so before we get started, I want to say a huge thank you to my family for helping me with this, and my 2 friends, Bethany and Megan. Without them, honestly, none of this would have been possible, and I am just absolutely so grateful to have them by my side. Anyway, starting to get into the tutorial, I am carving out my eyebrow piece, and I'm just taking some clay on my face cast and shaping it into the shape I want. I basically take these little wood tools and start to carve and flatten the clay out until it's almost perfectly smooth with my skin. And I take little tiny kind of worm balls and ball them up and push them down until I like the shape. Making sure the edges are super flush to the face is super important, because you don't want there to be really kind of thick edges, and you will see later in this tutorial why that's important. But while we're here, I want to say huge shout out to Creature Lab on YouTube and on Instagram. She helped me so unbelievably much. I will definitely link her YouTube channel down below. I messaged her about special effects stuff for the last week, and she totally came through and helped me make this into a reality. So I could not be more thankful for her help, and I definitely would not have been able to do this without her. So basically now I'm just smoothing out all of the edges, and then I'm adding some skin texture. I do this with a little tool and a plastic bag just so that it's not so harsh. This is called flashing, and you guys, I'm no expert at this. This is why I'm kind of giving you an overview, but basically it's clay that you put around all of the clay that you sculpted so that when you fill the mold with gelatin, it will have somewhere for the excess to go. That might not even be right, but I'm doing my best. So then you build up these giant walls around the whole thing so that you can fill it with plaster, which is this stuff. You want it to look like a dry lake bed, and then you just mix it up as soon as it looks like that lake bed. And you want to make sure that you get all of the little lumps out of there. That's why I like to use my hand instead of like a mixing stick. And then to start, I like to kind of just drip it on there and get it in all the little details. There's not too many on my sculpt, but just to be safe, I did this. And then I didn't show this, but I use a straw to blow out any bubbles. And this is what it looks like when it's done. Then after it has dried all the way, I took all of the surrounding clay off and popped it off very carefully to not break it. But I was left with this mold right here. So in order to fill it with gelatin, I would heat it up with a heat gun, and then I would run the gelatin. Now I am still so new at this, so I am not kidding you. I did this all day and I ran the gelatin 9 different times. And I got a decent result. So then I wanted to make some kind of scars. I made a lot more than I actually used, honestly, because I ran out of time. But I sculpted each of the scars and then put little mini walls around each of them so that they would have a thin edge, and then built really big walls around the perimeter of all of the scars. Then I filled it with plaster and took it off just like the other one, and I was left with these molds. I had to scrape out all of the little tiny bits of clay in between all of the cracks, and then I ran the gelatin just like I did with the other one. And in the end, I came out with a few different types of scars. You can see them, they're on a plate and it looks kind of weird and gross. And some of them I actually already used, but we have a circle one, triangle, regular scar, and those other pieces are for my face. There is my top eyebrow piece, and those are my like under eye pieces that you'll see what happens then. Now getting into applying this, I am just cleaning my face with some 99% alcohol and then fitting my wonderful little brow piece to it. Then I'm just taking some prosthetic adhesive and applying that all over the top of my nose and my forehead, and also applying a little bit of it on the actual prosthetic itself just to make sure it really sticks. And basically what you do is you wait for it to get clear and then you can stick it on. I like to start in the middle so that you don't like have any bumps or bubbles, and press really hard into the middle and then just kind of work outward and flap around like this. I'm just kidding, don't do that. And now I'm just doing the rest of it. I would just take a piece and put the prosthetic adhesive down and then wait for it to dry a little bit and then glue it down, and so on and so forth. In the meantime, I will tell you guys my inspiration for this brow. I kind of wanted it to be like it was, you know, a few thousand years in the future. Maybe there had been a nuclear apocalypse or something, and some humans have developed kind of different features than others, and I was thinking that this person in particular is the queen because she has those features. Like, she was born with these like kind of interesting brows instead of like normal people's brows. So that was kind of my inspiration there. Now I'm taking my NYX SFX Setting Powder and my NYX HD Photogenic Concealer in one. Then I'm just taking one of NYX's brushes and blending that concealer out. Now I am taking that gold shade from the Cosmetic Metals palette and putting that all over my lid and then extending it outward toward my ear. I kind of wanted to create like an elongated eye, almost like Egyptian a little bit, but just kind of a very kind of queen eye. Then I'm taking the Strobe of Genius palette and I'm taking the orange, kind of orangey highlight shade and putting that underneath my bottom lash line and then extending it out as well underneath the gold. Then I'm taking my Epic Ink Liner, sorry, it's a tongue twister, Epic Ink Liner, and going over the top of that gold shadow, almost like a cut crease kind of, but then you just extend it out to your ear, so it's like a mega cut crease. Then I'm putting a line between my two shadows and then underneath my eye as well. After this, which is where I am giving myself a wing and pulling that kind of in toward the middle of my eye. Now I'm taking my jumbo eye pencil in black and lining my bottom waterline and then setting it with a black eyeshadow. And then I'm just darkening up all of those lines that we did to make sure they're kind of more smooth and they don't have any like weird imperfections. Then I'm extending a line upward with that Epic Ink Liner just to kind of create a new look. I also needed to kind of hide the line between my eyes and the prosthetic itself. So I'm going back in with that NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil and I'm just kind of shading upwards. I kind of wanted to create like a gradient effect from up to out. And so that's what I did. And then I'm just taking a black eyeshadow and just kind of setting all of that, darkening it up, making it really, really black. Then I'm taking my NYX XXL mascara and just popping some of that on. Then I'm taking the Wicked Lashes. These are in the style Amplified. And then I'm taking my NYX Total Control Foundation Drops. And I'm going to apply, you'll see in a second, that all over my face and on my forehead over the prosthetic. And here is where my bottom piece prosthetics fail. I tried to put them on and cover them in black and all this stuff, and basically the edges of the prosthetic were too thick and it just was like impossible to blend into my skin. So I am just kind of creating just like a drippy black kind of painted look, and I figured maybe a queen would have something like this, and I didn't want to make it perfect. Actually, I wanted to make it super imperfect, so my eyes are like really pretty and kind of precise, and this black kind of dripped paint is just, you know, more kind of warlike. Then I'm taking the NYX Wicked Lippie, and it is in the shade Cold Hearted, which I found extremely fitting for this tutorial. And then I'm just shading a little bit around the scar I did on my chest. I didn't show applying it, but there we go. Thank you guys so much for watching, and please don't forget to go over to NYXFaceAwards.com and vote for me. I want to say a huge thank you to NYX Cosmetics for sending me all the makeup you've seen in this video and for allowing me to be in this awesome contest. And I want to thank the rest of the sponsors and Audio Network for providing the music. Thank you guys again, and I'll see you hopefully in the next round of the top 20.